Hey there, STAT216 students, and welcome to your Summer 22 Intro to Statistics class. My name is Charlie Katurba, and I'm going to be guiding us through this statistics learning mission this semester. And the first thing I want to say is thank you for being patient with me and waiting for me to get this course module or this course going. I completely just mixed up some days, and as a repayment for being flexible and patient with me, throughout this summer term, I'll be sure to be flexible and patient with you guys, provided that you communicate with me. So thanks again. Here we are. We're getting started. The purpose of this video today is to give you a quick tour of our Eagle Online course, which is all set up now. You can get started in this class, and today you'll see what assignments you have coming up and what sort of tools we'll have at our disposal throughout the semester. I apologize as well if I seem a little scattered. It was a pretty big travel day from yesterday to today, getting back from Mexico a few hours ago. So again, I apologize, but let's just dig right in. The important information that you need, or all the information you need for this class, can be found in Eagle Online. And the course is divided into different modules. So there's the Introductions and Important Information module, which is basically just a very long-winded version of everything we're going to talk about in this video. And then the different sections of the class are broken up into different modules called Module 1, Module 2, Module 3, and Module 4. Modules 1 through 3 have midterms after them. Module 4 has a final exam after it. Great. We'll talk more about what happens in each of those modules after we finish the introductions and important information discussion. This module has all the basics of what's going to happen in this class. So you'll find a nice little course summary, a description of the course content and assignments. The assignments might be slightly different this term. I haven't looked back at this from last term yet, but they're not different in a way that's going to be too impactful for you. The first assignment you have actually is to introduce yourself. So there's a discussion forum. I'll click on it now. And what I'd like you guys to do is to take a few minutes to start a new discussion thread where you introduce yourself and answer a few questions here. And the purpose for this is to make this online class feel a little bit more like a community. So I encourage you to read what your fellow students say, maybe comment on it. Hopefully you can reach out to some fellow students and maybe even have study sessions, homework sessions, stuff like that together. We'll see about that. After you introduce yourself to the class, that's a little 1-point pass-fail assignment. You should go through and look at the syllabus and the schedule. So the syllabus is a great place to find pretty much all broad information about our class. Going through it super quickly, we'll hit some of the highlights here. You can see my name, my office number. It's Ross Hall 146 on FECC's campus. But since it is summer, I'm not going to be there a ton, which also means that my phone number on the syllabus isn't going to be very useful for you. What that means is that the best way to get a hold of me throughout the semester is by email, and you should email me at this email address here, ckaturba@fecc.edu. Sometimes a different email address auto-completes for me in student email. I won't ever get those. There's some other email address that I have that I don't have access to. So be sure to use this email address when you email me. Throughout the semester, I'll have one dedicated office hour per week, and it'll be Wednesdays from 10 to 11, and I'll be available virtually during that time using Google Meet. And to access that meeting, you can just click this link here or copy and paste it into your browser. Now, I know that Wednesdays from 10 to 11 doesn't work for everyone, so don't hesitate to reach out to me by email to try to schedule a meeting for office hours. And we can meet either virtually or in person, depending on what's going on with both of our lives. All right, so what's the purpose of statistics? There will be a lot more information about this down the road. But one way that I like to summarize it is that statistics is a field of study that attempts to quantitatively answer the question of how do we know what we know. And that might seem a little bit strange, but the reason we want to quantitatively try to answer that question is because we always have a limited little bit of information that's called a sample, and we're going to try to make an inference about a broader population from that sample. And when we make that inference, we want to try to quantify the uncertainty that's innately present due to taking a sample. That's, in a very quick nutshell, what statistics is all about. Hopefully that's a little bit motivating for you, but if you look at the world around you, there are tons of statistical inferences being presented to you all the time, like when you look at the results of a political poll, or when you look at the specificity of a COVID test. These are all statistical tools. So in this class, my goal is to provide you with the theoretical, the theory of inferential statistics, but in this class, we're also going to use a statistical program called RStudio it's very, very light computer programming. It's basically just a big calculator for us though. And this will give you a functional way to do statistical calculations so that if you ever have to make some calculations and analyze real data sets down the road in your professional life, you have some tools to be able to do that as well. I'll let you guys read the course catalog, course learning outcomes. The next important thing for us is the textbook, and we're using a textbook called Open Intro Statistics. I'll actually bring up the website for it, because the website also has a bunch of information. The first thing we want to notice is that on the website, you can get a free PDF of our textbook. So you don't have to buy a physical copy. And in fact, even if you do buy a physical copy, I suggest downloading this free PDF because it is a searchable PDF. So if you're ever like, oh, I want to know something about t-distributions, you can search the PDF for t-distributions and find that. You can also, of course, use the index as well. But this is the website for our textbook. I suggest you almost immediately download a free PDF by clicking this link. Or if we go back to our syllabus, you can click this link and it'll take you straight to the download page for it. If you want a hard copy of it, the hard copies are available from the bookstore for a little bit more than $20, and you can get them on Amazon for about $20 as well. So the textbook's free. Unfortunately, our online homework system does cost a little bit of money. It's $29, and you can follow the instructions here to enroll in it. So we're hosting our homework through Edfinity. So if you have an Edfinity account from your previous course, sign into it. If you don't have an Edfinity account, click this link. Let's see, I'm going to open this in a new tab. Actually, I think I have it open. Once you click that link, it looks like this. So it'll say, welcome to STAT216, Summer 22. And if you don't have an account, I suggest you have to create one to be successful in this class. And I think you should use your FECC email. And when you sign up for this, please use your name as it appears in Eagle Online. That'll make my life substantially easier. So sign in with your FECC email. And when you enter your information, use your name as it appears in Eagle Online. Another key component of this class, as I mentioned before, is using the statistical program RStudio or RStudio Cloud. And in the first few days of this class, I'd also like you guys to start an RStudio Cloud account. What it looks like is when you go to the website, it looks like this, and you can click Get Started for free, sign up for a free account. Most people don't have any problems with this. There's a chance that if you use RStudio for absolutely every calculation on every homework assignment and exam and activity in this class, you'll use the project, or you'll use your 25 free project hours. And if that's the case, for $5 more per month, so this will cost you max $10, you'll get 75 project hours per month. But this is the easiest way to start using RStudio, and this is going to give you a tool that you can do every single calculation or computation you need to do in this class, plus a lot more. It makes you can make really nice graphics, really nice data visualizations, and you can do a whole bunch of stuff with RStudio that I'm not going to bother describing now. But this is going to be a key component of our class this semester, and I encourage you to sign up straight away to get started using it on your first homework assignments and stuff like that. It should be mostly free, potentially $5 to $10 over the semester if you use it a ton. If you're comfortable with techie type stuff, there's a completely free option, and that free option is downloading RStudio to your desktop or laptop. I don't think Chromebooks are supported, but desktop and laptops are. Note that you do have to download R first. R is the sort of base programming language, and RStudio is something called an IDE that works on top of it. But an IDE basically just means that it's a nice graphical way to interact with it. But whatever your whatever program or whatever operating system you're using, you can find directions for installing RStudio if you'd like to go that route. And if you imagine that you're going to be in a career or some sort of profession where you might have to do more data analysis down the road, I suggest just downloading a copy and having it available anytime after. If you download the desktop copy, there's no chance of running out of server hours. This will be free forever for you if you download it. The reason I don't suggest that everyone do that is because it can be a little bit of a bear to get downloaded and figure out straight away. So as I mentioned, you can do every calculation in this class using RStudio, which means you don't need a graphing calculator. That said, I know that a lot of students are quite comfortable with their graphing calculator. And so if you're married to it, you can, of course, do it. I don't post any videos on how to make these calculations, but the Open Intro website has tons of videos for graphing calculators. And there's also I posted a bunch of resources in Eagle Online for how to use your graphing calculator to make stats calculations as well. So I'm not going to guide you through it, but there are plenty of resources available for figuring out how to use a graphing calculator in this class. Okay, now for the even less fun stuff, grades. So your grade is broken down into, let's see, 5 different categories. One category is just intros and check-ins. So when you introduce yourself, that'll be worth 1% of your grade. There are 2 check-ins where I basically have you respond anonymously to a quiz in Eagle Online, and if you reply, you get 1%. Basically to tell me how I'm doing, tell me how you're doing, and let me know if there's anything more I can do to help you out in this class. There are 2 of those guys, and then there's another silly little assignment that I called screenshots, where you give me a screenshot of Edfinity once you've logged in and successfully registered for this class, and you get another point for taking a screenshot of RStudio once you've successfully logged into that as well. So that covers 5% of your grade. Actually completing the homework is worth 25% of your grade. There are also going to be 5 RStudio activities in this class. And those are, you can think of as statistics labs. There are 5 of those, and so that means they're each worth 5% of your grade. I typically end up dropping one at the end of the semester, so each one of them actually ends up being worth more like 6% of your grade. There are also 3 midterms. Those are each worth 10% of your grade, and then there's a final exam that's worth 15% of your grade. Hopefully that gives us 100. I think I double checked that last semester, but I haven't double checked since then. The grading scale is boring and very standard. One thing I'll say is if for some reason everyone is doing bad, I can carve the class and make the cutoffs go down, but I will never make them go up. One thing I do want to say though is that since this class is fully online, there's no way for me to take attendance I can't really do anything to make you participate or encourage or coax your participation. So it's up to you to be consistent and diligent in your work in this class. I'm here to support you to the best of my ability, but really when you're taking an online class, you have to be more independent and self-motivated than in-person learners. I link in the syllabus to an article that gives some good tips and tricks for performing well and optimizing your experience in an online class. We've basically covered the rest of this. One thing I'll say is that the midterms and final exams, these will be take home. They're not proctored at all. They're available in Eagle Online. When we go back, you can see the start and end dates for those guys. But once the start date approaches, you'll be able to see the exam and you work on it on your own and then upload a scanned copy of your written work. Some people have been typing up their assignments. You can do that as well. You can actually complete your entire exams in RStudio if you'd like, but I'm not going to say much about that now. But when you turn it in, I'd like you to submit a PDF, or if you use RStudio, you can submit an HTML, or if you type it up, you can submit a docx. But name it evocatively so that I know what it is, and then upload that file to Eagle Online. I'll say more about how to submit the work for your RStudio activities later down the road. More importantly, though, my late work policy is relatively loose. So deadlines in this course can be flexible, but you have to be diligent about communicating with me about those. If you blow off this course for 4 weeks and then want an extension on a bunch of stuff, I'm going to be not very lenient on that. But if you tell me in advance that something's going on, say a week out or a week from now, I'm happy to give you some flexibility in that regard. I hope that makes sense. But just please communicate your needs with me, hopefully in advance, unless it's an emergency. And I'm happy to be a little bit lenient on deadlines. The rest of this is pretty much boilerplate stuff, so read through it on your own. Actually, not all boilerplate. One thing that will be quite helpful for you in this course is the Math and Science Tutoring Center. It's on campus. You can find it in the LRC 148 and 134. They're open all summer. Clinton and a couple other people are around all summer to help you in this class. So if you find that I'm not available enough for office hours, or that you just need more assistance, or you want a nice, consistent place to go work on homework and study for this class, the STEM Tutoring Center is a great place to help with that. They're pretty good about helping with most of the things in this course. Sometimes they struggle a little bit with RStudio and RStudio activities in particular, but they're getting pretty good at those as well. So the STEM Tutoring Center, it's a great place for you to get additional help for this class. All right, what's up next? We do want to look at the schedule as well. I won't spend a ton of time going over it. The thing that I want to point out is that the couple things I want to point out are that it's broken down by week. So you have the week start date. So this is the Monday of every week. Our semester is 10 weeks long. Our class ends on July 29th. And the schedule gives you a rough idea about what content you should work through. Notice that sometimes there are a few different chapters. Basically work through the latter half of the first one and the first part of the second one. So this would be like the end of chapter 3 and the beginning of chapter 4 in that case. This also gives you a list of all of the assignments that are due each week. So this week, and actually it's actually early into next week, what do you want to do? You want to fill out the introduction, register for Edfinity, and create an RStudio account, and then start reading and watching the videos for chapter 1. We'll see where those videos are in just a second. Next week, what do you have due? You want to finish working through chapter 1, work through chapter 2, finish chapter 1 homework, and then notice that up here it says due dates in parentheses. The Chapter 1 homework is due on 5/31, which is next Tuesday. Chapter 2 homework is due 6/2, which is next Thursday. And then your first RStudio activity is actually due next Friday, which is June 3rd. So when it comes to doing that, I suggest you get started early and work diligently through it. All right. The first exam is due pretty quickly after that, actually. The first two chapters are fairly straightforward, I'd say. People in the past years have done really well on this exam, and it's easy material to work through on your own pretty quickly, I think, because it's stuff that you've likely seen before but presented in a slightly different way. Basically, like, what does a mean? What is a proportion? How do we understand variability? That type of stuff. So your first exam is due on June 7th. Yada, yada, yada. I'll let you guys read the rest of that. All of the deadlines for exams and activities and such are in Eagle Online, and the homework deadlines you can also see in Edfinity. Great. What else do we need to talk about here? We mentioned office hours. There's a link again to our Google Meet office hour. Here's a link to our textbook. Here's a link to Edfinity. The technology for statistics submodule, I think, is a really valuable resource for us. So there's a link to RStudio Cloud. There's a link to RStudio. There is another link to R and RStudio, and that our textbook authors have created. But this little folder here, I think, is quite useful for students in this class. I give you a ton of different cheat sheets and stuff to use throughout the class when you're working with RStudio. So there's the RStudio cheat sheet. The one that I want to emphasize mostly is the helpful R functions with examples. So I'm going to open that in a new tab. Should I just click the link? Anyway, sorry about that. This is going to look like gibberish right now, but this is a table of useful R commands. Most of this will make a lot more sense once you get started in the course, but it's a list of RStudio commands with examples on how to use them. So if you're ever like, how do I use the p norm command? Well, you could click this link and then go down here. The commands are p norm, q norm, r norm, d norm, whatever those are. You'll know what all these things do, and there are some examples here for you to understand, or that show you a little bit more about how to use those guys. A great little reference. It shows you the syntax for using RStudio. So helpful R functions is something that you might want to bookmark for this class so that you can reference it quickly. Similarly with some of the other features here, the R Markdown cheat sheet will be helpful with the activities. Learning Statistics with R is a book. Using R for introductory statistics is another textbook. They're not the ones we're using, but they have more R than our textbook does. All right. What else do we have? Sorry, hold on just a second. In this little technology for statistics submodule, if you want to use a graphing calculator, this is the tab where you'll find the graphing calculator references and guides. So the Open Intro folks have also created a TI-83, TI-84 statistics tutorial. They've made a bunch of statistics tutorials, and they've also made a book on them. So if we open this guy, hopefully this is just, well, we're going to do the same thing. Here's a nice little TI-83, 84 guide for introductory statistics. So you can You can reference this for any calculations that you like on your own, but again, I'm not going to be providing very much info on how to use a graphing calculator in this class. All right, that's the boilerplate stuff. Getting started, how to get started in this class, how to sign up for online homework, how to sign up for RStudio Cloud. Once you're all finished with that stuff and you've browsed through all of these guys, you might want to start digging in and learning some statistics. So the first thing you're going to want to do is read the book, but you'll also say, well, this is an online class, so there's some videos for it. And of course there are. Each module has a collection of videos and the slides associated to it. So in module 1, we're going to learn about data and descriptive statistics. There's a little summary of it, contents and concepts. There are some assignments associated to these, and a description of the workflow that I envision for it. But if you look at in the videos submodule, there's a bunch of different videos that some of which are created by other people. In this case, the chapter 1 videos were all created by OpenIntro. And then if you go to the slides submodule, there are a bunch of the slides that are used in the videos as well. Similarly for chapter 2, so you can watch the videos. Here we see some OpenIntro videos and then some RStudio videos that I made that show you how you can use RStudio in this class, along with the slides for both of these guys as well. And then once you're finished through with a chapter's material, you can go into Edfinity and start working on the homework, or you can start working on the homework and review the material as you see fit. You get to determine how you learn the material here. That's the basic workflow in this course. Sometimes students feel like the videos that we provide here aren't enough for them to learn the content. So this semester or last semester in the spring of 2022, I recorded every lecture I gave in person, and you have access to all of those recordings. So if you look in this module, there's a little bit of a description of that, and then the way that they're organized is by date in the Google Drive folder down here. So if you're like, oh, I'm curious, feel like I need to learn more about section 5.1, you could scroll through this and say, when did we start talking about section 5.1? That's on March 14th. So you go to the recorded lecture Google Drive folder, and you look for March 14th, which would be somewhere down here. There's March 14th. You can watch the video, I believe, in Google Drive. We're not going to wait for that to load, but you can watch the video in Google Drive. And the quality isn't the best, but it's a lot better than nothing. Fantastic. Well, this video is getting to be way too long at this point. I apologize for rambling. I hope this has been helpful and provides you with a good introduction to how I expect this course to go and what I expect from you guys in terms of navigating this class. Every Monday or Tuesday, I'll try to post at least a quick little announcement in Eagle Online to tell you about what's coming up this week in the class. And as a final note, since this is a 10-week class, it's a 16-week class compressed into 10 weeks, which means that the pace is going to feel pretty fast. And with that in mind, hopefully you're not taking other classes, and hopefully you have some time set aside every day, because if you don't work on this class every single day, I think it's going to be really easy to fall behind. So good luck. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I don't have any big trips planned for the rest of the year. So yeah, just reach out to me. I'm pretty diligent about checking email once classes started, and I know that the class has actually started. I'm here for you. Good luck. Enjoy the class, and I'll see you soon, at least in the virtual world. Thanks for watching if you made it this far.